Hello, everyone. My name is Ricardo Moreno, and I'm running for re-election for the Harlandale School Board District 7. And I wanted to take the time to give you a little insight into why I value education and my story on how I got involved with education in various forms. I'm going to share a little story, and it revolves around my nephew, who's a little bit older now, but at the time was 11. So this is back to 2009. This is during the time that we had a very significant loss in our family. My grandma, my mommy Tere, passed away in late 2009. My nephew was staying with us at the time. He's about 11 years old. And so at that time, I had recently graduated from Texas State in 2008. And it was a tough time trying to find a job, especially in the middle of a big recession. And the career field I wanted that had to deal with government and politics, they weren't hiring. So this moment when we had was in my living room at my mom's house and my house. And so what the conversation stemmed from was my nephew Nick was kind of sharing with me a couple of ideas. He was actually helping me out, and he actually provided me with some poignant advice and directed me. If you can guess how an 11-year-old can direct a young man into following a career path. But he helped in that time of need and offered some guidance that were well beyond his years. And I wanted to take the moment to share the story with you so you can get a better idea of who I am and the values that I have. Okay, everyone, I'd like to introduce my nephew Nick, and he can further introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Nick Castillo. I am a student at the University of Incarnate Word, Cardinal Red, and I'm a major in engineering, and I'm a junior. And I'm the nephew of Ricardo Moreno, who's running for the school board.
All right, great to have you here with us, Nick, and helping us out. Could you share a little bit about did you ever go to any Harlandale ISD campuses or schools?
I went to Collier for kindergarten and fourth grade, and I went to Liao for the second half of seventh grade. Seventh grade, yeah.
All right, so Nick, did you ever see me, obviously your uncle, in any capacity at any time in any of those particular campuses?
Yeah, I saw him at Liao a few times because that's around the time he decided to become a sub, and it was really cool to hear all my friends tell hey, I had your uncle in the class and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I saw him around.
All right, Nick. So can you kind of tell me a little bit about you as a kid to kind of get an idea of maybe how you were able to give me that great advice?
As a kid, I was a very curious kid. I would ask a lot of questions. I was very interested in people, and I always could picture their strengths of people. And I always knew that Ricky was the type of person who, he really cared about people, and he also really valued education. And so he would always tell me stuff about history, always never sugarcoat things. He would give me the truth, and I always appreciated him. I always would go for him for the truth in topics, or for any kind of intellectual topic I want to talk about when I was younger. He was the person to talk to. He was that guy.
So kind of going with that, Nick, could you kind of give us an idea? I know I kind of shared a little bit about the story of how you kind of gave me that advice about education, and to follow that as a career and a pathway. But could you give me kind of your perspective as an 11-year-old, why you felt the need to give me that advice?
Because I felt like it was the right advice at the time, because he was really into history. He always would enlighten me and give me perspective on things. And I knew that if he was in a classroom setting, he could give that same perspective to a bunch of kids who maybe need that perspective. So it was just the right choice and the most smart choice, I think, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick, for that. But could you give me kind of expand a little bit on what you meant by what you mentioned?
I think it's the open-mindedness for the kids, because he's an open-minded guy, and he can actually understand where they're coming from. I think a lot of the kids, and he just doesn't act as someone who understands them. He acts as a mentor, as someone who has the experience to actually give them a basis that they can build off of and to achieve their goals, to achieve whatever they got to do in the future. And that's why I thought it just fit.
All right, Nick, being so young at the time and giving such significant advice to someone almost twice your age, why did you feel, one, that I needed it at that particular time, and two, why was it so important to becoming, that advice from you?
I think it was just 'cause we have such a great relationship, and we always bonded even ever since I was younger. And I think Ricky always knew that I was kind of like an older soul, or maybe someone who's more a very curious kid. And I just felt like he needed the advice, or he just needed the direction, and I felt that maybe that was the right choice. It was the right path that he should have went, and it's paid dividends. Like he's doing a lot of great things now, and yeah.
All right, Nick, thanks so much for helping us out and sharing the story and being willing to, sit down and interview with me. Do you have any last words for people watching?
The only last words I have is make sure you go out and vote for my uncle Ricardo Moreno, and he is dedicated, driven, and determined to help every kid in this neighborhood. Remember, everyone, re-elect my uncle Ricardo Moreno for Harlandale ISD District 7, and follow us on Facebook at Moreno4HISD 7.